Welcome everyone to more open source Linux stuff here. GCC 11.3 is out just today or so. And of course we have to update that. This is of course only a minor release. I'm not a super fan of these changes pointing to the GCC 11 series. So some 200 fixes, and of course we like fixes. I downloaded that of course already. So let's see what builds I wiped the whole build here. Do I have maybe the parallel here? Yeah, that is what I... Let's maybe change all fives to substitute all fives. Even that doesn't matter. 5s to 32s. Could that do? Parallel max 32. Just config file SEDing, because otherwise we build this so massively parallel. We have some things to test. Also, yeah, so I rebuilt all the architectures, 24, 2 dozens of them, from ARM to x86-64 Mule, just fixed yesterday. So it could always be that patches fail, and of course they will fail. That's what do we... So we have two major things. I mean, the one thing would be the PowerPC 64LE regression. Yeah, I'm not really confident that that will be fixed. What else did recently break? I think some RISC-V had some minor, maybe should we probably, let's try RISC-V. We could, while we wait for that build, so what have we done here? Oh, I did this wrong, obviously. Let's tar here the download mirror GCC. Let's take a look at the changelog and review at least the changelog. So what you could theoretically do or should do, they have here, well, they don't have the, I would appreciate if they had the detailed changes here. In this day and age of such a major project, you probably could expect that. But what did I want to say? Yeah, if you click changes, all right, I wanted to say they have at least the diff in the download directory, which of course is here, minus that also, by the way. And so yeah, the diffs we could, yeah, also set X versus GZ compression, right? Let's set cat or less. GCC 11 something. Okay, what did we have here? Backported, configure, pick. So yeah, 200 changes that will... Wait a second, why is this... Why does this not have dedicated... this doesn't have dedicated changelog? Probably because nowadays... This is a bit funny. Maybe because nowadays they have... Maybe they don't have detailed changes anymore because of version control system. So we will have a result there, whether that even has a chance to build with these patches or not. I'm a little bit disappointed. No, we have actually nowadays... yeah, I also have to say, just wait a second, why is this... Wait, why is this diff so strange? What? Why does this not have more changes? What am I looking here wrong? Or so yeah, by the way, this... What is even the point of this checksums. What is even the point of this diff? Okay, there are some changes. Yeah, so actually reviewing how large, actually wait, this was megabytes, right? What, the diff is megabytes? Wait a second, 200 fixes in 6, and this is compressed. Wait a second. Now I get, how can some 200 changes be? Yeah, actually here are some more proper changes. Okay, because probably this was the top level file. Yeah, so reviewing that is a week's job, obviously. Can we even scroll that? That was, this is bloody fix include, yes, GCC. Okay, that is S390. Yeah, even scrolling over that, hey, here's some PowerPC stuff. Wrappers on symbol addresses when emitting pit code. But that is Darwin. There's more Darwin. People still fix PowerPC stuff for Darwin. Yeah, that is the thing. Should we spend the extra effort to try whether the reword of bin utils is still necessary? So much Darwin stuff, surprisingly. Okay, of course, x86 fixes. Risk 5. A-arch. Yeah, so 200 changes, they said, right? Is it even... Yeah, even scrolling. Somehow the format is not the easiest to scroll over. It's not, for me, not the most eye-friendly, and I even switched to a new eye-friendly font just for this video. To test the latest and greatest innovations in fonts. Fold constant, middle end. Yeah, that's quite some changes, which is probably why we... And that is the thing, right? That is such an essential of the compile, of course, compiling, transforming, translating, in other words, compiling the source code, human readable source code to machine code. And due to that, it will, or not will, it has a chance to affect basically every binary, right? Which is, in case you're wondering why I rebuild now all the builds. I think I kind of wanted, I probably was a little bit undecided between not wasting more electrons, rebuilding everything after weeks of building, and actually better rebuilding everything for the sake of consistency. So that of course comes here as a very good excuse to rebuild everything with the latest and greatest fixes. The crazy thing is, of course, is the stuff is so complex it could even introduce new regressions. 200 majors, yeah, given the sheer amount, right? 200, I didn't expect, actually, this must be easily, actually we could check that, right? What is, can we pipe that straight to word count, maybe? Yeah. So that is, yeah, 42 megabyte, right? 42. I mean, and that is a crazy thing, right? Actually, when I live streamed it, I saw 200 fixes. That's not too much until I found the changelog. And then, of course, this becomes, even this 200 fixes. Is it even 200? How did they get to 200? Maybe I should grab the changelog and word count. The changelog entries. Yeah, so I mean, other software is as large as 6046, or it was megabyte. Yeah, also I need a thread ripper, right? 137 amps. Oh, it's mostly boosting today. In case you were wondering. Yeah, I need the Threadripper. You can share, like, and subscribe to support investment. Threadripper, Epic or Threadripper. I should not have left the less. Where is actually we can GCC. Here. What do we have to search for? So we were somewhere here. Just to get an overview what we get ourselves into. But also more people should do that, right? People should, even I don't do it that much anymore, like release candidate review stuff. 20 years ago I've done it a little bit. But the point is also nobody pays for it, right? And I spent already half of my lifetime maintaining all the open source stuff. I can't also sit and review pre-release and stuff. My point is more people should not only review changes, but also actually on the projects when they are produced. I'm somewhat inclined. Where did PowerPC failed with? I think this was relatively late, right? Wasn't it? I think Clang and LVM of all the bigger projects. Yeah, compiler complex bugs, even the changelog entries at times. Valtrack, don't call. Combine. Yeah, fixes all over the place. I hear something. Disable MMA if not target VSX. Actually, did we not hit? I think recently we had some miscompilation there. Maybe that was it. Even here, we recently had some strange VSX versus Ultivex stuff, so maybe actually that is the stuff. But yeah, on one way, surprising that after so many years, still so many basic things need to be fixed. On the other hand, with all these massive changes, and also new ARM has new scalable vector extension, RISC-V vector extension, bit manipulation extension, all the x86 ongoing craziness. It's constant change, constant regressions. What do we do build-wise? Yeah, so we can decide actually I mean, just building PowerPC, especially without Firefox, only takes 2 hours. So I could actually test that bin-utility regression. Is this even 200 changes? Is this not more? I'm somewhat would like to count those. Hey, yes, sci-fi. Yeah, or AMD GPU. Is anyone even using GCN and GCC? That is also a little bit of, do we need really, I mean, yeah, options to choose from, but is it really the best time spent to have GPU stuff in GCC? If you're using that, let me know more GCN stuff. People really use that. Some of those changes feel massive. I wonder if this really are only 200. Let's diff just for fun. So, otherwise, yeah, some updates from data we can actually. All right. I think there's still an issue with data, our update bot, previous video, that now that we run it so embarrassingly parallel, I think sometimes the subversion commit fails because oh wow, there's actually quite some shit. How many are there? Let's... I think this is, in effect, I saw this already the other day. I should somehow fix that. They also actually, this is a little bit inconvenient now. Now I don't know whether data tested those. I think this happens now that we run this so embarrassingly parallel. That, alright, also probably should disable keeping the temp buffers again. Hello, file system. I think this occurs when multiple bots try to commit stuff. Actually, probably should put this on the to-do list. Yeah, that is of course far from ideal. That is actually really shit. Of course not how we wanted that. Good that we check that though. Vodafone Doxes Internet, what should I say? Okay, at least no, there are not that many left. I think I will just commit that. We will. It's of course not ideal. No, actually, not. I should actually put here untested because. Yeah, maybe when Doxes Internet is shit and then 2 occurring like slow to commit. What we basically, where's even my to do? Or do I have? Probably I have the to do in here. Somehow the file system is strangely slow right now. Why is that hanging so? Guard concurrent commit with multi. And also actually network outage. Why is this? Yeah, good that I checked this spurious data residual stuff here, so that we test build that. Oops. Yeah, so this locking thing is, as I was still running with this slow internet. This is exactly what probably prevented this commit in the first place. It's of course not the point that we do this manually, so yeah, this will be a little bit tricky. I wish Subversion, does Subversion has a... Probably not, right? Probably they didn't. Wait a second. What is this? Don't unlock the targets. Alright, it's probably if you do manual locking, what nobody does. Probably we need to detect it manually and like loop a bit or something. That's of course, yeah, that is this kind of stuff that is really annoying. That is of course extremely error prone to work around around the command line tools. So here we also have a, wait a second, that didn't even download. Yeah, that is what we need to improve eventually. How many more updates are there? Probably should check that. Oh, there are more. Theoretically, we should better work on these file names. Does someone use this new Intel Wireless daemon already, by the way? What was the other 838 or 49? Maybe we should also simply split that into two packages. Was it 49, right? Yep, totally nothing to update every day, and welcome everyone. 200 bug fixes. Did I mistype the title? That could very well be after. I better hope they mostly fixed bugs and didn't intro... What, bug fixes? Some with some 200 bug fixes. So I actually didn't mistype that, but... question using Comic Sans? No, of course not. We're professionals. I licensed just for this video. For this video specifically, I just licensed a whole freaking set of code, comic code, not comic V. This is comic code. You don't know there's a professional comic code font that professional presenters eventually license for their presentations. What's better than using comic code for GNU projects, right? I wanted to actually, some people say they like it because it's easier to the eyes, especially, yeah, stuff like that. So I thought, well, let's try that out, but thanks for noticing. That also means I can't share this font because they're freaking licensed it, right? Why not give creative people some support? So, and did I? What did I commit right now? This not. Yeah, I need to fix that soon. If I delay this year, then it will be years of misery. Automation is the only substitute for automation is more automation. It would be, so the problem is, if we try to detect it ourselves, it could be that something crashed or got corrupted, and if we just infinite loop there, that could infinite loop forever. So there it starts then with some fail-safe, like try at most 10 seconds. Yeah, that is somehow, why is this hanging so much? You reboot the server and it starts this strange I/O hanging. How is this? This was running for, yeah, never touch a running system. Why did I freaking reboot that yesterday? Is this RAID rebuilding? Oh, wait a second. I think this is RAID. Why is this RAID rebuilding? Oh, this cache is rebuilding. Why is this shit? Is this not? I also hate this default view, to be honest. In my opinion, this could be really. Yeah, this could really list a better overview, including the devices, I hope. Yeah, so this really leaves some to be desired. But why does it rebuild the cache now? We only suspended to disk. Why would it do that now? Does it even do that anymore? Is it? It's somehow not ideal. Yeah, so this SSD cache stuff, somehow I'm not the super most impressed of, as so often it works in theory, but somehow it's not amazing. The devil is in the detail. Oops. Yeah, this we also need to. This is however that happens with some strange directory listing. But yeah, so much to AI replacing programmer's job anytime soon. So leave me basically. By the way, did we? Are we nice that? Okay. Basically, leave in the comments below if you want to see the whole builds. I mean, the thing it's mostly boring, except fixing regressions. I only wonder, should we? I saw it was PowerPC. You know what? We can still. Let's maybe. So otherwise, we compiled the cross compiler. So for maybe for fastest builds, actually, maybe I should not have so many concurrent builds. Actually, it's turbo boosting quite nicely today. Why is it turbo boosting better today than the other week? I didn't even reboot recently. Is this just the lower temperatures? This is bizarre. 4 weeks it didn't turbo boost over 4.6. Why does it? I mean, can you even trust this? I mean, it's fresh in the office right now because saving on gas, obviously, with this ongoing Russian invasion, war in Ukraine. What is even the temperature? It's not that fresh. It's over 20 centigrade Celsius with the sun. Feels a little bit fresh. Yeah, so this is modern stuff, right? Interesting. By the way, did I? So, builds, we want results. So what I will do, I'm too curious if any of those changes fix this PowerPC thing here. I also need to test P3 though. What was with this util Linux? Oh, this was just... only usually... Interesting quirkery. So what we can do is simply rm this without subversion commit. And We could do one more thing. Should we do we have people watching this fun stuff? Maybe not the most. Okay, let's see if maybe people are annoyed by this font though. Debbie likes the font. This is Comic Code of all things. That is a commercial font that I just licensed for 30 freaking US dollars for a set of Essential Collection. Wanted to try that out. Comic Code, they have a 2022 commercial fonts. Commercial comic fonts are a thing. I'm happy that you like it. Some people say, although it's comic, some people say they like it because it's more irregular and it helps them to actually read that faster than more regular fonts. And I wanted to try that. And because there is a free demo, but that only includes alphanumeric and not even a slash. So that is why I actually said, okay, fine. Let's give them some money who do creative stuff and support that. So yeah, happy you enjoy the font. So test builds. The only other thing I wanted to review, a previous live stream, we added support for microcode update for Intel and AMD x86 CPUs that uses a very special init.rd thing, and I didn't really quite think that through and actually reverted the default use of that. Last or previous night I added a -- microcode option to init.rd. So we will not ship them by default. It's like, yeah, I'm playing safe. Also, we extend the init.rd, meaning we build the kernel, we have an init.rd, default init.rd, and for our installer we need to extend it a little bit, meaning we extract it and add more stuff. And that fails then because now it's not one init.rd anymore. That is also really annoying, right? I said this in this live stream. It's really strange and bizarre what previous video, right? What the Linux kernel developers developed there. It's really special operation there. And we actually could check why should we check this in the browser, or actually maybe you probably like black and white terminal, right? Yeah, glory to Ukraine, obviously. Freaking unnecessary war criminal shit. We have such big problems in the world with our climate crisis, and even before the freaking war, outlook of food crisis with 1 billion people and enough water for all of them and stuff, and then freaking dictators have nothing better to do than starting a bloody war. Sad stuff. Sort of losing faith in humanity. See such bloody nonsense. Download mirror Linux kernel 5.17 and then what do you think about you need to be more specific. What should I think about World War III? Which World War III? You and I need more complete question to give any answer. So Linux. This code should be in Arch x86 microcode. Currently here. And I would hope that lives in, actually let's use a freaking Vim. And so CPIO data. What do they do here? Set start only if we have an init.rd image. We cannot use init.rd start because this is not set that earlier. Thank you very much. So even special 32-bit versus 64-bit quirky here. So do the kernel developers really use usually a spacer? That is really funny. Why do they use a space there? Sometimes they use it. First time I noticed that. Okay, fine. So then fix up the start address after reserve init runs. Init start has the virtual address of the beginning of the init ID. It also possibly locates the rumdisk. In either case, init ID start contains the updated address. So use that instead init ID. Okay, so as expected, extremely crazy C trickery here going on. So the amount of hackery needed even to support this. I said in the live stream, it's of course totally painful to path that CPIO archive here early in the boot up process. Early microcode, thank you very much. Reload ucode, so how does it work? What is the... Okay, that is just some old interface. Fake device for request firmware. Yeah, fakes, quirks, and features. That is really crazy. It didn't help us much. So they scan, they obviously need to, or not scan, they use those init informations very early. What do they do then? Find CPIO data. Start, they also need to update that, right? So where do they, that as CPI find microcode in init path and find microcode. Okay, they didn't. Okay, they have this in Intel and AMD. Thank you very much. Load built-in Intel. So init ID is gone away. Save microcode in init ID Intel. Clear patch pointer. We will scan the microcode one last time before jettisoning and save a patch. If found, then we update the pointer too with a stable patch address, resuming the course. So CP data size. Okay, here they do that. So they probably set. I didn't find that there yet. Find. Yeah, so they update that here. Start equals boot rumdisk image, rumdisk. They update, where is the site? Config, so boot params. Fix up the start address after reserve init ID runs. Yeah, this is a little bit, you need to know really lots of kernel internals to even, it's extremely tricky. You also need to know the order in which the early init ID parsing and virtual address space stuff runs. And but I assume they simply update this bookkeeping information, the start address, because we have first the CPIO microcode. By the way, how would they check that it is init RD microcode? So for us it remains extremely tricky. It didn't really help us much. It's strange and quirky. do I still actually, I should have that here. The last build init.rd should have that because I booted with it. Alright, this is when I last rebooted to test this. No, thank you much. It's a new version. Not really. Ah, darn. You know what, we can maybe better use that so that it doesn't constantly restore. That would be too error prone. I'm not really in Qt. I'm not a fan of Qt, and even, yeah. Let's check the spin walk thing though. Yeah, with this build time, you probably understand why I'm dreaming of an epic Threadripper. Oh, there's also stable. Odd stable. Odd stable, I guess. Let's try that again. This also results in some random garbage, which is really, at least, oops. Yeah, so on those corner cases, we still need to work on getting that somehow not. I'm not even sure where it gets it from. Some random stuff somewhere. Yeah, I need a Threadripper, man. I guess when eventually they come, we will see. The only crazy thing is that the Apple Studio stuff is actually quite competitive if you look at Threadripper pricing. And energy efficiency. So with given that energy budget, of course, also this is actually crazy. What is this? This should be. Does it actually extract the what? Inverse S-box? What the heck? Is it? Is this as part of the microcode stuff? No, shouldn't be. What? It's probably some random stuff. I wanted to say, given, like, if you really long-term use an Apple M1 Studio, what was the name? Ultra? Max? I lost overview. M1 Pro Max Ultra? Stupid naming. But I anyway will probably not get it. This is, I don't really want to give Apple that much money. And also the extendability, right? Even, that is the crazy stuff, right? If I need to spend the same amount of money for a Threadripper with maybe slightly better performance, potentially maybe, but certainly higher energy consumption. But the thing is that's killing it for me is serviceability and expandability. But if you only use it for, like, if you do not tinker with your stuff, maybe the Apple Studio is actually a good choice. Just for me, if I would not run the YouTube channel and I wouldn't want some more hardware to test with, maybe even for me, but given that Threadripper is way more expandable and serviceable, I'll probably go with that. So what's going on here? So CPAO, I wanted to mostly check, is this not, why is this, or is it, oh wait a second, does it, trailer, archive, file name trailer, file name, trailer, does it have also this trailer thing? What did we even do there? We create those CPAO archives. Wait a second. So we cat all of those stuff together. And at the end, create that archive. And that one here should have been compressed. Maybe it uncompresses that. Maybe binwalk uncompresses that. Maybe it would be, I think it would be conceptually cleaner not to patch the microcode that early, maybe extract the init ID. Maybe there, I mean, certainly there must have been technical reasons, but I would say maybe bring the non-boot CPUs up later, like after init ID extractions. And I understand they want to patch the microcode as early as possible, so the kernel doesn't see any CPU bugs that are patched away. But then I would still argue this is way too complex craziness and fragile, annoying stuff. Then you can't even extract the init RD normal anymore in normal ways. Probably, but this is also the thing with this single address space, everything clobbered together Linux kernel, that okay, this does not say that it probably wasn't easy to do differently or something. I mean, they wouldn't do this craziness if there would not be major reasons to do so. Okay, this trailer is apparently not, I thought it just says trailer, but apparently this is not in there proper. That's probably their encoding. I'm a little bit surprised that it doesn't say set standard compressed, or does it? I mean, our stuff, so it really does. It really does set standard decompress it on the fly, I would guess. I'm actually surprised that it doesn't. Why does it not say set? It really doesn't indicate set standard compression. Does it even, so we have here set standard file length. I'm looking into that because if we wanted to support that by default, which I'm not entirely sure that we really should do that. I mean, it makes the init already 5 megabyte or so larger, or whatever that was. I'm actually surprised. Somehow it's not everything. So this binwalk stuff is not like 100% complete because here is no bin, right? Why is here? Or does it maybe indicates especially? No, this is bizarre. Because so it's not indicating all the rest of the like bin stuff, like bin init, like yeah, to extract that in shell is a little bit tricky. Really tricky. We basically would need to read. I mean, if we support only set standard compressed, we could scan for the signature of set standard. Oops. Which should be something like that. I think I will not support it this week. Because it is a thing, right? It now says those here with this firmware. This is inaccurate, right? This is starting as a CPIO archive, but then switches to sets not compressed. What is stuff? 517. Don't need those kernels anymore. I usually keep those. I only keep those as a developer for reference testing bugs and features and stuff, obviously. If I would not be a hardcore low-level developer, I wouldn't keep them personally. Okay, what have we learned? We have learned that the extraction is as annoying in C as we would have expected. That it is tricky to deal with that. I mean, we support it now in general, not that much harm done there. I just don't run it by default right now anymore. I think wait, is it the right? Maybe I entered the wrong direction. Of course I did. Yeah, crazy complexity. So the builds take a while. That was expected. Depending on how the bin util situation here goes. Yeah, how high is the load even? At least this commercial comic code font supports here this special symbol stuff for these graphs. Yeah, build takes a while. Fancy Topia, exactly. I probably don't think it makes sense. I live stream. If you want to see a build, I have 2 previous videos. One 2 hours full commentary about each package scrolling by, and another building that with 12 or something. A grid of watching those builds. In my opinion, yeah, I don't need to do that again today, maybe another day. I wait for those builds to progress here. Because it's there, just as I see that. At least we had a win-win of finding a new bin utils update, and actually theoretically we could... wait a second. I have my own video running, that is of course not ideal. Theoretically a node of data update filters tray like, what was it, 27 for bin walk. But I've seen this also, there's other stuff, other like min GW, whatever, min GW, other crazy stuff. So yeah, there's some stuff to filter that is currently preventing some updates. And last but not least, we quickly check if I see you for C, which by the way still need to work to fully cross-compile. That also changed. I see Unicode. Yeah. Probably we remove this old IBM stuff. Darn. Yeah, the biggest projects, of course, I need to change every year somewhere else. Where is the download? Recent releases of 71. I think we had something else, right? Oh, 68.2. So I guess we want to update that a little bit, huh? Hope that doesn't break something. Let's... Yeah, the version number is the usual. What does it, 71-1? Maybe? Let's hope our cross-hackery works. I remember I put an hour or two into fixing this big versus little Indian and cross stuff and using that for Firefox, but as far as I remember, even with 2 hours invested into this, also not the most easy to work with. Also build system and C code stuff. Nah. I didn't quite finish that though. So how large is that? Is it? No, this is only, not a fan of bytes. Yeah, 5 megabyte only, I guess. Why does this take so long? Hello? Recompressing 5 megabyte? Let's see if it's still bootstraps. Do we have any cross glue in there? CU4. It's also crazy that such prominent major products don't properly cross-compile. Let's get a coffee before it suspends. Yeah, bloody Siemens machine. I really hate that. It's really wasteful if if it grinds the last beans and it thinks it's not enough, then it just throws them away. I really hate this. Really wasteful. ICU4C. So yeah, pro tip: check your beans before you start the coffee. Not to waste some beans. Okay, it does build. The question is, does it work? We have a bigger problem with Firefox, though, that frustrates me really a lot, that it doesn't build for all architectures anymore. I mean, realistically, even old little Endian MIPS and PowerPC is too slow to render anything decent on the web anyway, but yeah, the whole situation is so sad. Anyways, that's it for this video. A little bit of T2 maintenance, obviously. Just, of course, 1 hour a day keeps bitrot away. Hope you enjoyed this and learned something, and leave in the comments below how much you love or hate this code, comic code font there. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I hope to see you soon for more fun. And hey, ISOs, right? The ISOs will be hopefully online. I will probably rsync. I will probably first build x86 and then release them already after light testing, and then release the other ISOs of all the other architectures as they finish. So yeah, that's it for this video, and hope to see you soon. And thanks to O2 LTE 0 frames because Vodafone.